Tony Khan, during interviews on Busted Open Radio and also in New York yesterday, was asked about Chris Jericho and Britt Baker and their current statuses in AEW. And as always, he kind of gives the same answer he always gives, that he loves both of them and he really wants them both to be back with the promotion and he hopes they're there for a very long time. Now, every time Tony Khan says something like this, my head immediately goes, you're the booker, you can book them, it's your decision, they are under contract, you know, you're the one who's made this decision not to put them on TV. But anyway, what I presume is happening here is Tony Khan does not want to put them on TV until they sign extensions on new deals because he doesn't want to give them momentum before they leave. I presume that's what's happening here. But Clark, the question I want to ask you is both their deals are coming up in the very near future. Do you think they should both go to WWE or one of them should or neither of them should? What's your thoughts on this one?
I think of the two, Jericho logically makes the most sense for going to WWE now. I think he kind of did all he could in AEW, given his time. He left a great mark. He left it better than he found it. I appreciate what he did in AEW, and I think a WWE return makes the most sense. With Britt Baker, it's a little bit different for me. Dr. Britt had such an awesome initial run in AEW. I would really actually love to see her sort of come back. And given the work we've seen Toni Storm put in and what she's sort of built in the women's division, a rivalry with Dr. Britt Baker, I think would be excellent with Toni Storm. I think Monet and Baker rivalry would be excellent. I don't know exactly where she fits in WWE because she's sort of been gone for so long. I'm not sure what the trajectory would look like if she did make the switch. So my answer would be Jericho to WWE. I think Britt stays in AEW or should.
Wow, okay, so you expect her to stay even though she's not been on TV for like 18 months?
Yeah, I just, something tells me that it makes more sense, and I think she should stay. Especially if she's going to get back on TV anytime soon.
But I'm going to be honest, I think she's been disrespected. To leave her off TV for this long, she's not had an injury, she's made it clear she wants to be on TV. It's not the case of she's doing other things. So obviously she's got her own dentistry as well, but she wants to be on TV. She is not on TV because Tony made that creative decision.
Yeah, it's interesting, the reasoning behind it, because like you can't really argue with it. It's not like, oh, does she have an undisclosed injury, right? Is she trying to focus on dentistry, right? You know what I mean? Like,
well, she said she's made so many hints she wants to be on TV.
That's my point.
She misses it.
So that makes the answer more difficult because obviously that, you know, on paper sounds like, oh, shoot. I do think, and I see Donnie in the comments mentioning maybe a stint in NXT to sort of rehab her reputation a little bit. I think she can rehab reputation stuff on AEW television as well. I'm not sure that that's necessarily worse for her than NXT. I think if she makes a full-time return to AEW TV and you feature her often on Dynamite and Collision, she's sort of right back in the main event scene. I don't know if that's the case in NXT out of the gate. I don't know if she is.
I mean, she would be. She'd be like maybe the biggest star there immediately.
Upper mid card, I would say, but I don't know if they put her ahead of Blake Monroe or you know, Mariah May. I don't know if they put her ahead of a few of the stars that I think are going to get called up soon anyway from the women's division. So maybe just a little bit of waiting time. But I personally just still feel like if she's pending, obviously her getting booked and put back on television, in my eyes, AEW is still the better fit. It's not the better fit if they don't let her work, Ben. Well,
of course,
that. But if in a perfect world, if she's getting booked on both, and I'm just choosing between the two, I think she's still a better fit for AEW as of right now.
Here's the thing. Podcast Scripter says this, and this is where I will agree with him. Britt was the AEW Women's Division between 2019 and 2022, and it is disrespectful what's happened now. Now, of course, like Donnie's saying, there's, rumors about backstage issues, of course, on that reality TV show they did, or the backstage thing, whatever you want to call it.
Favors.
I mean, it made her look terrible, but the question here is, was that a kayfabe thing, or was that real? Or did they trick people into thinking it was real, but it was actually kayfabe? I don't know. But what I do know is she's not there. And she put in the work for so long. So to be honest, if I was her, I don't care what the offer is. I would leave because you have been done dirty.
Yeah, that's fair. I understand that logic too, especially considering just how great she was 19 to 22. I also think they're like some of Britt's most iconic moments and matches are, those really bloody, violent brawls with Thunder Rosa, and I don't want that to go away. I don't want that to go away. If we're gonna get,
but that's what I mean.
Back,
she deserves praise for it, and she hasn't been. She's basically been exiled for a year.
Yeah, it's brutal.
I mean, Donnie says he thinks the stuff on that reality TV show was very real. Fernando says both Jericho and Britt should go to WWE. Podcast Scripter says Britt was a victim of the new toys narrative in AEW. And Ian McWilliams says Jericho has done everything in AEW. He needs one more run in WWE. Britt has been replaced in AEW by Monet. If she wants to be the top star of women's wrestling, she's got to go to WWE. Hot take, guys, before we move on, but I'm going to say this very quickly. No matter where she goes, if she stays in AEW, goes to WWE, I don't think she's getting back to 2021 Britt Baker. I think that's her peak.
Yeah, not anytime
soon. I'd like
to
say one.
Go for it.
One small thing. Chris Jericho debuted in wrestling in 1990. That's 35 years ago.
Long time.
I love Chris Jericho. I used to use Chris Jericho back in the old video games where he would do the lion salt and he would put his foot on your chest and yell, "Pin him!" when he went to pin. And I have such a soft spot in my heart for Chris Jericho. I don't want to see him come back to WWE and look terrible.
That's funny. Wow. That would actually be frustrating.
Out of respect for Chris Jericho, the person.
I'll
not
say
to
this,
say he
though.
would. Not to say he would. I don't want that to happen.
He looked like not amazing, but he looked for his age. Actually, to be honest, for his age, he's looked better than anybody I've actually ever seen during his last run in AEW. And of course, it's been a few months since then, since he last competed. But even still, I reckon as long as it's like a 6-month to a year retirement tour, which I think it would be, I think he'd do fine. And I think personally, I'd like to see him end his career in WWE. But then I know, Clark, you said the other day you want him to end his career in AEW.
Just be the flag bearer. I think that'd be cool, right? Cody kind of had that chance and was going to be that guy. And then after he made the move, somebody can be that guy. If anyone's going to be, it's going to be Jericho. So that's the only reason I say that.
Fair enough.